Wednesday at 5 p.m. normally. Tonight at 5:05 p.m. Because of my technical incompetence. Sorry about that. I got cut up. But here we are every week. We're here to help you buy your next home, whether you're trading up or first-time buyer. I'm here with my colleague, Patricia Castillo.
Patricia Castillo, yes. How's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Good,
And
good.
our good friend,
Gustavo Segura. How you guys doing?
fantastic. So what's up? I don't know about you guys, but I feel it. Now, if you guys ever play softball,
Yeah.
you have organized
I
baseball or
wasn't very good
softball.
at it, but yes.
Do you guys know what rally caps are?
No.
So in baseball or softball, there's a concept where when it's time to rally, the whole team, if you're behind, you take your cap, each inside out. Some go forward, some go backwards, but it's inside out. So the whole team has them because it's rally time. And for the last 6 months, I've been in my my YouTube channel and my weekly email to my clients, but talking about that there's no real estate market crash. Now, there might be a correction. I think we've seen a correction in many markets, most markets. But just like a lot of things that went way up in price and now are adjusting down. Just like toilet paper, you couldn't get any, now is normalized. Housing was crazy and has now come back to what we would call normal market, similar to the pre-pandemic. And I feel the rally. I see even people who are calling for a housing crash now writing articles saying, "Oh, there's no crash coming." Who's talking about a crash? Me? I never said that.
Yeah.
For the record, I've never said there's a crash coming. I would never say what there's coming. I don't predict the future. I talk about where it is now. And I say consistent with now is it's a good, healthy market to buy or sell property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I mean, just piggybacking off of that, according to the National Association of Realtors, they're stating that prices are still, on a nationwide level, they're still positive. And there might be mild, correction in some areas, as you just added, but in roughly half of the country, buyers are seeing those concessions coming in, as we've been talking about. And because prices have still been holding their value in most areas, especially like Los Angeles County, it's still a good time to sell if you're interested in selling. And typically this is around the time that, sellers are getting their homes ready to list. And so this is still a good time to buy. In fact, with the rates coming down in the low sixes, I was just looking at VA rates if you're a VA buyer, and those are coming in below 6. Or FHA is always also coming in the low 5s. Hey,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you're on mute.
Hello, all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you all. Good to see you too.
It's been a while.
So we're just talking about the rates and the inventory right now, and the fact that it's still a good time to, sell your home. And some buyers are actually needing to sell a home first in order to purchase the next home, whether they're upsizing or downsizing. And it is starting to pick up. My phone's definitely, starting to ring. In fact, I just came from a seller consultation in Long Beach, and we're getting the home ready to list it. But this is one of those situations where the home's being sold and then the homeowner is looking to purchase another home. So this is a really great time to do that. You can actually get your offer accepted even if you have a contingency. In the last 2 years, that was something that was really not available. If you were a contingent buyer, sellers were looking at all the cash offers and all the sexy deals. But in this market, you can actually still get your offer accepted. And even though you have a contingency, such as selling your home.
Yeah, no, that's right. And you mentioned VA. It's a great program where you have no mortgage insurance, you have zero down payment, rates like you mentioned. I have a buyer right now, and we've got them around a 5.5%. So It's a great program that allows them to take advantage of a great rate, great down payment, and no mortgage insurance. So anybody out there that can benefit from a VA loan definitely should be taking advantage to buy property.
Yeah, and you can actually purchase the home with minimal money down because you're using the VA benefit. And so you do need some cash to open up the escrow, but really you can open escrow with lower than 3%. You could open escrow with 1 or 2% of the purchase price. And because sellers are most likely going to pay for some of those closing costs, you're going to be spending probably about less than 3% to purchase a home.
Yeah.
If you're a VA buyer.
That's exactly what they're doing right now. They're trying to negotiate the closing costs or seller concessions. And they're looking at minimizing that out-of-pocket cost, which right now is just a closing cost. So they're trying to minimize that, keep it under 10,000. So on a $500,000 loan, that, like you said, that's 2%. So it's going to be less than 2% out of pocket for them.
Wow, can you imagine buying a home with less than $10,000?
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's
And not a
exciting.
veteran. And not a veterans could do it with no money down.
yeah,
Now
exactly.
you talk about an FHA buyer, which is an additional group of people that's available to.
Yeah, and we're talking about what we're saying about VA buyers as well, because they have the benefit of using the VA, no money down. But if they were going to pay for some closing costs, it would just be their closing costs.
That's right. Yeah.
I think, I want to start the conversation more on before that, a more global picture. I saw a statistic on NerdWallet, which is a popular website for saving money and personal finance. It says 75% of people surveyed expect a housing crash in the next year or two. And I think there's a lot of buyer hesitancy, but we see on the big money side, I think it was announced the other day, either GE or BlackRock are buying like $1 billion of rental property, right? The big money sees that rates are not continuing to go up. Maybe they're not going down, but they've certainly not continued from 3% through 7% up. And so the big money is saying, well, the numbers are what they are. And based on that, these properties make sense for us to buy today, we'll buy them. And I think that's the thing we want to impress on buyers is don't get fooled by the hype one way or the other. You need to analyze your situation. And if you have the money and can afford to buy a property, in the long run, it's been the best financial decision you can make. That's the opportunity that's in front of you. And everything I see right now tells me that the market probably dipped the most in the last few months, a month or two ago. But I gotta tell you, I have an offer accepted yesterday for 1.6 million. I have, I have 6 pending escrows. I'm as busy as I've been in a year or two. In last year, let's say. So the market is there for those who can afford to buy property. You need to analyze your situation and get the right strategy for your situation by talking to Gustavo. And if you need a credit fix, you can talk to Jeffrey, or Gustavo can help you as well with that. Or if you need a strategy, talk to Patricia. But either way, we're here to help you get the right strategy for you to take advantage of the opportunity that's here today.
Absolutely. So Jeffrey Eigel is with On Track Credit Services, and you've joined our call in the past. So welcome back today. We're glad to have you. And I just wanted to ask you, Jeffrey, what type of credit cleanups have you been seeing lately? Is it more major? Is it something that people just have like these little glitches on their credit and they just need a couple of months to get that improved so that they can have a more powerful FICO score?
Well, first I have to thank you for the weather today along the beach because I'm on your coast today. So I've been out here for about 2 weeks. I'll be here for the month doing work.
Nice.
Yeah, I do a lot of workshops all around, but I finally got out here. I'm like, wow, 68, and there's about 6 inches of snow in Chicago. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd jump in. I got your little note. And the interesting thing is, when it comes to credit now, credit is something you can never stop thinking about. Now, people that are not really interested in moving or buying a second home or an investment property, they don't always think about it. They think maybe in the future I'm buying a new living room set. They're going to do that. But it's kind of like the people across the street from where I'm staying. I'm out in Redondo Beach. They're tearing down a tear down. They had to wait 16 months to wait till the lumber costs came down so they could build 2 units on the house. So they're going to start tearing it down next week. So the thing is when I start thinking credit, remember, I was a lender when I first started. So I think like a lender and went to the credit side. The part about credit is credit covers everything, your job, your bills, your credit report, and it gives you the interest rate now where you could be from as low as buying down a rate into the high 5s to being all the way to 8%. It hasn't been that way in a while. So for us, we're so busy with people just making sure they can be ready. Because what happens when rates go down in 2 months and you're not ready for it?
Right.
You can't fix 5 years worth of credit damage in a week. You need time.
Yeah, you
And
need
like
time.
Gustavo, and I've caught you on some of the other ones. The thing is, I was a lender. I'm like, you cannot help people 24 hours a day because there's not enough hours. And you're not able to contact people constantly. They have to be in a position where they're willing to work with their credit continually till that moment comes. Rates are going to drop this year into the 5s. It may only be for 3 days. Whoa, it will.
Whoa. I'm gonna take that to the bank one more time. What's gonna happen there, Jeffrey?
It is going to find its way back into the 5s. It could be for 3 days. But what if you are the one that has been waiting? You have plenty of money, you have plenty of ability to buy what you want to buy, and the prices are at that point, but you actually don't have the credit unless you're going to pay for it in cash. And a lot of people pay cash. I get that. But you know what? Credit, having your credit in the best position right now is more important than before. Because when interest rates were 3 and 3.25%, if you didn't have the best credit, you ended up with 3.75. Now you end up with a high one. And there's different places.
6.75.
Remember that? That was back in the, 1984?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I mean, even now, I mean, if your credit is not where it should be, you're not going to be able to enjoy the benefit of a 5.5 rate for a VA loan, or even in the low 5s for an FHA loan.
Right.
Oh, 100%. You know, what we find is we're trying to make sure people are credit worthy. We don't do loans. We don't show houses, but people that are thinking investment, you said it, Bill, people are trying to achieve investment properties because there's some money to be made there. And if they drop down and you could get some of the closing costs. Now, Gustavo, I try to keep up because we work with every bank and mortgage company, but even like FHA, they used to allow up to 6% back from the seller. And then they do. Okay. So then, conventional was 3%. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less.
It's more. It's a growing percentage. If it's under 10%, then it's 3%. Once you get over that 10% down payment, they can contribute more, 6%. Wow. And then once it goes over 25, then you can get up to 9%. So,
oh my God, that's like a home run. Yeah. But those are the things where creative realtors and lenders get it. When I was a lender, I would do workshops and that was so important, but rates were 7 and 8%. I haven't been a lender in 15 years, but it was that way. But I always look for all the down payment assistance. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of money out there. Why not throw a little extra money at your down payment? It doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world. You have an opportunity to be able to do that. So on our end, it's all about credit, nonstop, so that they can buy when that moment comes. If Gustavo calls and says, hey, we're at 599, but their credit doesn't qualify, we're finding the lenders need you at least like 680 to 700, and they really want you over 720. So that's what we're finding. But it doesn't matter how many issues there are because we can still deal with it. A couple issues take just as long as a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. It's really about the issues. It's not about how many. The good thing is we find them all. And we're here to hand them back to the lender like Gustavo, so he doesn't have to chase down people. Let us help them through that part. And just like you're the realtor, we want you to sell them the house because we're not going to sell them a house. And we don't expect you to ask us to help.
Right.
But if
we do all the fun stuff.
No, we're here to help you with credit so you can sell them the house and Gustavo can do the loan. And that's the most important part. All we do is credit. We're going on our 12th year, but it's been crazy because people don't know what to do. You can't even get a home equity loan now without a high credit score. And people used to get home equity loans. They're like, I need my money. I'm like, well, we're going to have to fix some stuff because it's a lot higher. So these are what we see on the credit side specifically.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where, you know, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So that's part of the, you know, staying consistent with your FICO score. And I've mentioned this before, I think on this call, where you can download your own free credit report once a year on annualcreditreport.com. And you can just use that as a reference so you can see, you know, what your FICO looks like and maybe what items you would need to work on, if any, or in case you need to dispute something. Sometimes there's occasions where something derogatory might show up on your credit report and you have no idea what that means or what it is. So if it's something that needs more help, then, you know, they can talk to you, Jeffrey, about that. And once you're working on your FICO over time, let's say maybe 3-4 months, whatever the case may be, then there's something where the lender would just do like a rapid rescore to refresh that FICO to get it to where it needs to be, taking into consideration that some of these issues on the credit report have been cured.
Now, I do want to mention something that you said, which is interesting about annualcreditreport.com, which most people don't know. If you've ever used Credit Karma, one thing about Credit Karma is obviously it's a free service, but it is an inquiry on your credit report. Most people don't know that. But when you run a credit report from Credit Karma, it's only about 6 or 7 pages long. Now with annualcreditreport.com, it's 100% free and you get each report separately. So in general, on an average, TransUnion report is about 40 pages. The Experian report alone is 60 pages. And your Equifax report will be 90 pages. Now, one thing about how you said we get a free report every year, one thing that's happened when COVID came around, they decided to give us a free credit report every 12 months, once a month. So you get it once a month. A year ago, which most people don't know, you can get it once a week. So now the annualcreditreport.com, you can get once a week for free, 100% free. And the thing is, one thing about credit, you got to talk to someone, whether like Gustavo, as a lender, I respect everything you do 24 hours a day because I did it. And the thing about it is you can answer all the questions, but we can't do the work for them. And sometimes you can hand them the stuff and say, do these things, let me know, and I'll do a rapid rescore. And I would tell you 1 out of 1,000 actually does it.
Right.
That's what I found. I hate to say that, but it happens. On track, we're there throughout until they get there. That's what we want to do. But it's important to know they can always try to do it on their own, but it's important to ask a professional, especially like Gustavo. Even forget us. Just ask your lender, because he has to, the first thing he does is runs a credit report, and he already knows what to do. The problem is, can he follow you for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months constantly to make sure you did it? That's where actually comes in.
You're right, Jeffrey, because I downloaded my free credit report online last week and it's 258 pages or 205.
There you go. Right.
205 pages.
So how does Credit Karma have 3 pages and then you get 250 over there? So you can see the credit reports are different everywhere.
Yeah.
But Gustavo's report is the most important.
So Gustavo, once, let's say somebody's fixed their, they've worked on a few issues with their credit, what does the rapid rescore look like? Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about the rapid rescore is that person takes action. They pay down $500 or $1,000, $2,000, whatever that may be. They get an updated balance letter from the creditor, and they go ahead and they deliver that to me. Then I work with the credit company to be able to go to these credit bureaus, and they confirm the balance being paid off, and then they go ahead and they rescore them, and they'll come back. And in my experience, it's been 50, 60 points higher that that person is getting. So the latest one that I can think of, they were already around a 710. And then after that, they only paid about, I want to say, 2,000 to 2,500 bucks off of the account. It wasn't like you had to pay off everything. It was like, let's pay these things down a little bit. And from that, we were able to get them over 760. So they were able to take advantage of a much better rate that was going to save them around $200 more. So that was something that they were able to do, and that was a no-brainer on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a numbers game. If you have the credit, you're going to get the best rate. And it also comes down to a numbers game with your monthly payment, right? Because it's going to be directly impacting your monthly payment. So the higher your FICO score, the better your rate's going to be, which is going to translate to a better looking monthly mortgage payment.
Yeah. And you know, we talked about how a consumer can get help, get that credit repair. I like to talk to them in the beginning and understand where their credit is at, and then show them their payment example right now. So if someone's got a 650 credit score or 620, I say, look, I got lenders that can help you there, but here's the rate. You know, maybe it's 6.5, 7, and here's what's going to happen. But if I can get you over to 700, here's the difference. And if it's a big enough difference where they're saving $300-400 and it's worth it, it's like, yeah, you know, let's take care of this right now so that you can get that rate. If I can, like the one that I just mentioned about a VA loan, they're at 655. So they can still get that great rate, 5.5. And they're like, oh, I don't want to wait. I want to go ahead and take advantage of it now. It's like, okay, great. Yes, they could take a little bit longer to get the credit repair and all that, but they're wanting to get a house before the end of February. So I'm like, well, then we got to go.
Right.
It's one of those scenarios. Yeah. So it's one of those scenarios where if I can give them that example of payment and rate, here, this is where you can improve it and go get the help to get the repairs done. And then we can be ready and take the next step. Or maybe they're ready now and they're like, hey, that's good enough for me right now. Let's keep going forward.
Right. Because ultimately it's what they're comfortable with, what the payment's going to look like. And it doesn't even matter what the interest rate's going to be. But if you can afford the payment and it's within your budget, you know, even if the payment's a little higher, but you can afford the payment now, you can always refinance later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, good. It looks like we're at the top of the witching hour here. As we say, it's about 5:30 and we usually start shutting it down about this time. So I don't see any questions here on my social media, Bill. Do you see anything popping up right now that we can address before we?
I see a couple people watching on YouTube, and thank you for being there. If you like this, like it, subscribe to it. If you ask questions, they'll show up in the chat now, or we'll catch up with them later on me or Patricia's channel. So feel free to share them there. Thank you so much. But no, I think we're good to go, Patricia. Why don't you take it away and wrap it up for us?
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Jeffrey and Gustavo, for being on our call today. And, you know, Bill, and I just want to say it's, you know, it's heating up right now. The market is definitely not crashing. I know our phones have been ringing and we're very busy right now. So if there's anything that we can help you with, these are, you know, just my last words here for the day. Just reach out to us at any time. We're usually always available. We can schedule a call, do a one-on-one. And if you have any questions about your credit or you're interested in maybe doing a consultation with Jeffrey, I know you're available, Jeffrey, to do some consultations, right? So how can somebody get a hold of you, Jeffrey?
They can go ahead. They can call me directly. The number is 630-745-0216, or they can email me at jeff@ontrackcreditpath.com.
Okay, great. And Gustavo, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to talk to you about rates, I know initially you don't even need to pull their credit. You could just have a conversation with them, look at their debts and their income, and just kind of get a ballpark on where they stand.
Exactly. And that's something that I can do really quick for them, 5 minutes, get them comfortable with the idea, and then we can go on to the next step, and they can reach me at 714-334-4563. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. And Bill, if somebody would like to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you, sir?
I'm on social media at Bill Gross EXP. I'm affiliated with EXP Realty. So Bill Gross, at Bill Gross EXP on Facebook, LinkedIn, the IG. I'm not as big a deal as Patricia is. I have a YouTube channel as well. So please see me there. If I can help you, call or text me. Thanks.
Okay, great. And I'm at 323-365-9909. And have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Nice seeing you again.
Bye now. Pleasure. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Gustavo.
much, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.